Hey everybody, thanks again for joining us here at Brave Kenya TV, where we stand for progressive politics, good governance, and accountability. Whoa. Guys, we have been conned, we have been tricked. That announcement from Ruto coming at a time when young people are still pushing for reforms, for accountability, for good governance, is a proper betrayal of the people of Kenya. President Ruto never really learns, does he? He actually still believes that if he has the leaders, if he has a hold of the leaders, that's all he needs to govern Kenya. You know, the citizens and their dissatisfaction and their voices be damned. As long as he's got the majority of the political class with him, he's home safe and dry. That announcement today is a proper slap in the face for Kenyans who have been fighting for change, who have been fighting for good governance, who have been fighting for a total overhaul of governance in Kenya. And I have seen a situation where we are now having the political class closing ranks and fighting against Kenyans and what they want. They're trying to maintain the status quo and carry on like business as usual, like nothing happened. After 50 plus, almost 60 young people have lost their lives fighting for a better Kenya, fighting for accountability, for democracy, fighting for a government that is equitable, that grants opportunity to young people, a government that works for the people, a pro-people government, not a government that serves the interests of IMF and World Bank. That is what the young people have been fighting for on the streets. They have been fighting for a government that listens to the people. That public participation actually counts, where they listen to the people, they make a budget that reflects the will of the people, that provides free healthcare, that provides education, that provides good roads, that provides clean water and housing. A government that is truly people-centric, pro-people. And now what are we getting? The political class have actually teamed up. And from the announcement that President Ruto has made, it seems like they are hell-bent on ignoring everything that the Gen Z and the millennials and all Kenyans who want to see a better Kenya, all Kenyans of goodwill, have been working so hard for in the last 2 months. They just want to go on like nothing happened. What happened to Raila's demands that he put out on Saturday? That for them to form a government of national unity, a broad-based government, they've got to do some basic minimums, which was including compensation of the people, of the young people who have been killed, and payment of hospital bills for those who are in hospitals. Also, taking out those rogue police officers who have been recorded shooting young people. What happened to the police officer who is known even by name, who shot Rex Masai? He's still roaming out there on the streets free. There are so many police officers who have been recorded who have not been arrested. Nothing has been done to them. Right in these protests and even last year's protests. There are so many things that need to be done even before we get to naming a cabinet. And so, this is a proper slap in the face for Kenyans. And I don't think the Gen Z, the millennials, and all Kenyans of goodwill are going to take this lying down. Guys, we are in for a long struggle. We have to get in the trenches and fight this system. Why? Because the political class, you can see they're working together. They're now in cahoots. Now there's no shade of KK and ODM or KK and Azimio. Although I must give a compliment to Kalonzo, to Eugene Wamalwa, and to Jeremiah Kioni, who have kept their parties out of this mess. These guys are not salivating like hyenas to join the gravy train. You can see ODM have exposed themselves really, really bad. And 3 things I've learned from this. Number 1, Ruto cannot be trusted. If you think that Ruto is capable of changing and becoming the leader who can lead us into a new Kenya, the new Kenya that we want to create, then you are totally wrong. You're in for a shock. Ruto is a cunning, slick politician who knows how to manage the masses, who knows what to do, to give a few concessions during an opportune time, like he did, coming on X, trying to sweet talk the young people and trying to show that, he's willing to bend down and do whatever you want. And even doing a fake firing of his entire CSs, only to bring most of them back again, as we've seen. He just knows how to cool the temperatures. He did the same thing last year when Azimio were having their high cost of living protests. He said, let's have a conversation. Let's come and have talks, NADCO talks. What have they yielded? 0. So this guy, his playbook is one of just kicking the can down the road. But in reality, he does not intend to change. We're going to see even worse corruption, worse mismanagement of public funds, Because now what is going to happen, there are going to be two sides in government. There's going to be the ODM wing and there's going to be the KK wing. And they're both going to try and embezzle as much funds as they can, build up their campaign war chests for 2027. And there won't be any checks because the opposition has been cannibalized. It's no longer in existence right now. We don't have an active, viable opposition in Kenya that can actually put up a serious resistance in parliament. Because the ODM MPs ganging up with KK now, they have a super majority. So we are going to have a parliamentary tyranny where they're going to gang up and get every law passed, even those that don't help wananchi. So I've learned that Ruto actually cannot be trusted, and you guys, I hope now everyone is clear that we cannot trust this president. Whatever he says, take the opposite. If he promises to do something, you're better off going away with the opposite of what he said. Now that is clear, so we have to go forward knowing that we cannot trust anything President Ruto says, and the only safe option is to start working out a way to vote him out of power or to use constitutional means to make sure that his presidency does not take us to 2027. Number 2, ODM, man. What became of ODM? The party that was created on the foundations of social democracy, fighting for the poor person, fighting for the downtrodden of society, that has been pretending, I can say pretending now because they've shown their true colors, that has been posturing as a pro-people party. I think this is the death knell. Guys, what do you think? Is this the last nail on the coffin of this party called Orange Democratic Movement that has been offering Kenyans an alternative option in every election, where the downtrodden, the ones who are fighting against the status quo, the ones who believe in a better Kenya, the progressive forces, the civil society have been coalescing and promoting the candidature that is fronted by a coalition that includes ODM. In the last elections, we've had NASA, we've had CORD, we've had ODM then back in 2027, always offering hope to the people that promised to take us to Canaan. Is this the end of ODM as we know it? Because clearly, they've shown that they have an insatiable appetite for public coffers, for public money, for getting into public positions, which they did not even fight for. Baba spent so much time trying to assure us in the last week or two that he's not going to get into a coalition government with Ruto. Even his people, led by Orengo and Sifuna, have been saying, let's not do this. That Baba goes ahead and crafts a coalition agreement with Ruto. He tells the rest of the Azimio people, Kalonzo, what a betrayal, man. Kalonzo has supported Baba in the last 3 elections. And this is what he gets. This is the political conmanship of the highest order. Baba, one, has done conmanship on the people of Kenya because they have put their trust. And ODM is not just about the politicians. It's not about Mbadi and the other politicians in there, Junet and Joe and Oparanya. These people don't have any moral spine. ODM is a political movement. It's about the downtrodden, the people who want a progressive Kenya, the people who want a social democratic kind of governance. This is a movement that people have invested in over the years. All the people who have voted ODM in the past elections have got a stake. So when you just turn around and consult a few people who are hungry for money and put them in government and betray a whole movement, I think this could be the beginning of the end for ODM party as we know it. I don't think it's going to recover from this because the young people of this country are the majority. And the young people are woke, they're awake, they can see what's happening. They can see that these people got into government not to serve the people's interest, but to serve their own stomachs and their own self-interest. It's a day of shame for ODM, and I'm sure more reasonable voices within ODM, the likes of Sifuna, the likes of Orengo, the likes of Anyang' Nyong'o, the likes of Amolo Tiende, have been saying no to this thing. Those are the people who normally advise Baba, give Baba the voice of reason. But it looks like Baba has chosen to ignore them, and he has gone into this gravy train, trying to get his people in government, trying to build a war chest for 2027 or whatever they're doing in there. It's a proper betrayal, and I think, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below whether this could be the beginning of the end for ODM, Orange Democratic Movement. Thirdly, guys, Gen Zs, millennials, the guys who have been out there on X-Space, on the streets, fighting for a new Kenya, do not be discouraged. Don't think that we've lost everything. All is not lost. One, we've inspired a whole generation of young people all over the world to actually rise up and demand better governance. But largely, even better than that, we've caused a fundamental shift in Kenyan politics. These guys coming together to form a cabinet is not going to frustrate us. If anything, it's going to fire up the movement even bigger. So guys, let's organize better. It doesn't mean that because we are leaderless, we are disorganized. We can be leaderless, yes, but we need to be organized, right from the grassroots to the national level. Aluta continue. We need to make sure that this struggle continues, that we don't let up, that we keep being relentless in our fight. Let's keep the protests going. Let all Kenyans of goodwill come out and say that we do not agree with Ruto for trying to play us for a fool, firing a whole cabinet and then sneaking them back from the back door and thinking that we can swallow that. We're not going to board, and Kenyans of goodwill must come out and tell this government that things must change. We cannot allow a moment that has been so well crafted by young people going out there in the streets and losing their lives, unfortunately, in defense of a new Kenya, with an aspiration that we're going to shake up things and change how we do politics in this country. We're going to change our systems of governance, from parliament to the executive to our judiciary. It was going to be a complete overhaul. That is what we want. We cannot take anything less than a complete overhaul of how we do governance in this country. I think they have grossly underestimated the collective power and the collective will of the Kenyan people. Our will not be broken. We shall continue fighting as hard and as long as it takes for us to get our country back, to make sure that the Kenya we want is a reality today, not tomorrow, not in 2027, but today. So guys, viva! The struggle continues. Keep fighting wherever you are. Civil disobedience, to make sure that you hold this government accountable and you express your dissatisfaction with what President Ruto and his cronies are doing to Kenya. Thanks for listening. If you are new to this channel, please take a moment to subscribe, leave a like and a comment so we can build this channel together. I leave you with Juliani's revolutionary anthem, Sitasimama Maovu ya Kitawala. Peace. See you later.
Hatuget wadhifa, una deserve bila kashama kashfa. Hii society Kenya wanaeza share ni nyungu ya busa ama keto la shisha. Mfuko unasikia echo, unajua thamani ya mali na size ya kifuli. Eyo, ujaibiwa jua unakaa kitu. What? Risking jail time, police bullets for. Unaweza argue crime doesn't pay, lakini wezi dismiss justice in a bay. Mwizi ana 40 days, 365 days later anaendelea kugrow fatter. Do anything for power, ready to lose their head for presidency. Bora waione kwa currency. Sababu gani siko affected na turbulence? Flanga ni mezo the same feeling. Matatu zikipitia portal mtaani. Julian, yeah, nisaidie. Gala bagala, niko tayari kulipa gharama. Sitasimama.